Badovich gets the save.
Head coach Tracy Smith is joining us. Thanks for the time, Coach. Start us off with an opening statement, then we'll move on to questions from the media.
Well, just a kind of a hard-fought battle there, and guys stepping up. And much like last night, we put ourselves in some unenviable positions on our own doing. But the good part about that is finding a way to get out of those and making the pitches and making the plays we needed to ultimately lead to a win.
Open up the questions using the raised hand function. Start off with Jack.
Hey, Coach, off the bat in the seventh inning, did you think Lampy was going to be able to run that ball down, and how huge was that catch?
Well, that was a game, that took the momentum and a little bit of the wind out of the sail, that other dugout, I would have to assume. That was a great play. It was, being all things. I mean, everything contributes, and people don't realize that catch is a result of, the assistant coaches and doing the scouting report and moving guys over, which they had just done. Prior to that, it's the guy executing the pitch, and then ultimately Joe just doing his job, which was making a phenomenal catch. So it's everybody contributing to that play, and that's what this team has shown time and time again, that as long as we have team success, it doesn't matter who gets the credit. But I would certainly say that was one of the, if not the biggest play of the game.
Jeff?
Yeah, just to go on along there a little more, the plays you made, with Pivarov and then bringing Joe in, and then the way it all worked out. I mean, you kind of go into the game knowing you've got those guys on the bench and you have that capability of making those kind of moves later in a game, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Still learning this team and learning the personnel. And, my style is I like to kind of, make that lineup and go with it early. If you're going to make some changes or take some starters out, you just go ahead and take them out, because you never know how that game is going to go. And you go into it with an idea of seeing some people, and next thing you know, it's a tight game, and you haven't learned anything about your team. So we had the plan, the idea that we were going to try some different guys today, certainly positionally, and then have the other guys, have the other guys available at the end. And it turned out, exactly how we thought it might. We were hoping to have a lead in the last few innings, and then we were going to make the substitutions to get kind of our regular defense back on the field.
Michael?
Going back to the bottom of the sixth, you guys had first and third there, and Vinny Tossi came in and pitch ran and got thrown out, kind of got caught in that rundown. Did he think that ball was going to go through? What did you see from the dugout? And also, to kind of follow up on that, you've talked about the maturity of the team being really young and so forth. Is that kind of an indication of what we saw in that play?
Well, I blame us, me. We've got to do a better job coaching right there. And he shouldn't have been going. You got Lampy. We need to read that situation better. In other words, they were probably going to let us steal the bag. So, and I don't want to get into specifics of our offense on that, but we probably made the wrong call. So it's not his fault. That was more our fault.
Jacob?
Tracy, it looked like Eric was really dealing and was kind of on his stuff today. I'm curious, first, what your thoughts were on his performance, and then also about the decision to remove him after 5 innings and just 64 pitches today.
Well, I mean, just getting other guys and just felt the matchups. And, we've had a lot of games at this point where we just haven't, seen a lot of guys. And so Brady Corrigan has done did a really good job last outing. And Eric was a little fatigued. So we just thought, let's make the move right now. We're early in the season. Let's just go ahead and do it right now so we can see some other guys. But also, with him being fatigued, it was one of those deals where we had the lead. Let's just go ahead and get him out and work some of the guys in the pen.
A couple more questions. Jack?
Have you noticed a sense of urgency within the pitching staff and kind of an understanding that they're going to need to have starts like Eric gave today with the loss of Cooper and Boyd?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about strikes. I mean, it's as we get deeper into this thing, there's going to have to be more guys step it up and continue. But I think Jason Kelly does a wonderful job of communicating exactly what he wants. And probably the biggest message of that is if you want to toe the rubber, you got to throw strikes. And we've kind of not helped ourselves here a little bit, but competition, man, breeds competition. And these guys are all competitive people, and they want to get on the mound. Position players want to, we talked about it earlier on the position player side, guys want to play. So they know they got to bring it every single day in practice to earn the opportunity to be out on the mound. And when you see guys performing over and over again, that also, to me, raises your awareness too, and and hopefully translates into your performance as well. So guys feed off one another, and I think we've done a really good job of that.
Michael?
How big was Christian's performance today after you got just one out from Brock and then Graham didn't get it out at all, and Christian was able to kind of stabilize things towards the end of the game?
Well, it goes back to what I just said, strikes. I mean, it's sometimes in a managerial thing, situation, you just like, hey, you know what? If they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us, but let's make them beat us. And we know that Christian is a strike thrower. He's a competitor. And some of the guys were a little shaky today in their command, and we just felt like a good option. And, with Bob, but he's done that time and time again, kind of our quote unquote insurance policy with strikes.
Last question, Jacob.
With Bod coming in and throwing, I think it was 29 pitches today, is he in the mix to throw again tomorrow? And then have you also thought about who might start and kind of how tomorrow might look?
We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I would doubt that Bod would be in there tomorrow. But we don't know who we're going to start just yet.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Brady Corrigan joining us. Thanks for the time, Brady. We'll
How
start
you guys
off.
doing?
Good, thank you. We'll open up to questions using the raised hand function for Brady. If you have any questions for Brady, use the raised hand function. Jacob.
Brady, in a general sense, what's kind of the feeling out in the bullpen right now? Because it sounds like you guys have quite a bit of responsibility with Boyd and Cooper out, and it sounds like the workload might be higher for the rest of the year. So what's kind of the mindset out there?
I think overall the mindset is come in and just do your job no matter what the situation is. Guys could be sliding around in roles, obviously with the injuries, but can't really dwell on that. And it's kind of the next man up, and you go in there, you give it your best shot every time and hand it off to the next guy when JK comes and gets the ball.
Jeff?
What would you say just about your role now? Do you feel like it's going to be a considerable more workload for you? And being a veteran guy, it seems like you're kind of prepared or positioned well to take that on.
Yeah, I mean, personally, my thing is whenever they want me to go in there, I'll go in there and pitch until they take me out. Could be the second inning, could be the ninth inning. Doesn't really affect me. I go in there and give it what I got every time.
Jacob?
Just as a guy who's been here for a bit now, what's your impression and your reaction to just the way that the younger guys have performed out of the bullpen so far? So whether that's Ethan or even Badovich today, just what they've been able to do. What have you kind of seen from them?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, with Ethan, I don't know where to start. I mean, the guys come in, freshman, closer, pitching in the biggest situations out of anybody. I mean, you can't say enough about him and his mindset and obviously his physical ability. And then Bod today was unbelievable, just coming in there, filling it up, and got into a little trouble, got himself out, and then finished it for us, which is huge going into a Sunday game, a chance to get the sweep.
Any other questions for Brady? All right, thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Drew Swift is joining us. Thanks for the time, Drew. We'll go straight to questions from the media, once again using the raised hand function. Start off with Jack.
Hey, Drew, you guys got a really strong start from Eric today. How important is that going to be moving forward with the pitching staff being a little depleted?
Yeah, that was a great job out of Eric. He was ready to take the mound after not his best performance last week, but he definitely owned it up there today, and he threw really well.
Jacob.
Drew, have you felt like the team's situational hitting has improved over the last couple of days? Because it seems like you guys have done well in spots where you get a guy on with an error and you're able to move the person over. So what kind of has gone into that improvement?
Yeah, honestly, we were being too aggressive, and we were a little too amped up going in there with a runner on third. And so, I mean, we just kind of adjusted and acted like it was just no one on, and we kind of have done a better job. So that's definitely improved.
Jeff.
Can you talk a little bit about the defense, both the kind of defense you're playing, and then when you see Lampy make a play like that, that kind of is a game saver?
Yeah, I mean, all the way around with Haas and Sean and Nate. I mean, guys moving around. I mean, Nate had a really good pick out of me in the last inning, but I mean, just everyone's stepping up. Everyone's playing well on defense, and everyone's very versatile. That's the one thing that a lot of people aren't playing the same position, but everyone's ready to go no matter what.
Jacob.
To kind of build off of that, where do you feel like this team stacks up defensively in comparison to the ones that you've played on here in the past?
Yeah, I was talking to BG the first weekend, and I don't see much of a drop off coming from our defense. I said that to him. I think that we're really good. Even those freshmen. I remember our years back when I was a freshman. We struggled a little bit, but I mean those guys have been awesome. Especially Haas. I mean he's done a great job over there.
Jacob.
What kind of made you realize that this team was either as good, if not better, than the ones defensively in the past, and kind of what prompted you to say that to BG?
I mean, just knowing who's out there. I mean, those guys are ball players. They're ready for the big situation, and they showed it all fall. And so, I mean, honestly, whoever we put out there, I feel comfortable, even in the outfield too. So, I mean, we got a lot of options, and I'm excited.
Any other questions for Drew?
Drew, real quick, were you worried that there was going to be a drop off this year just with the veteran experience that you were losing and then the new guys coming in defensively? Was there any concern on your part, or just like you were wondering if you'd be able to pick up?
I knew it was going to be a transition, just a different team. And so in the fall, I didn't really have any worries. It was just a different team. So, I mean, we had to really adapt into being grinders, having good at bats, and playing hard through 9 innings. We don't have that luxury of Torque coming up and hitting bombs or anything. But yeah, so we're just a different team. But no, I had no worries.
Thanks for the time, Drew. Christian Badovich is joining us. Thanks for the time, Christian.
Thank you, guys.
Go straight to questions using the raised hand function and start off with Michael.
Hey, Christian, just take me through that play in the 7th, that ball off the bat slicing into left center field, and then Lampy comes out and makes a play like that, saving the game. Just take me through your thoughts throughout that entire sequence.
Yeah, coming into the game, bases loaded, 2-out situation. I know my role is just to get in there and throw strikes, let my defense work. And I got a lot of trust in the guys behind me. And obviously it showed because Lampy stepped up and made a huge play.
Jacob.
Can you just speak to whether or not there was a change in mentality or kind of the reaction of the bullpen as a whole after you guys learned that Cooper Benson and Boyd would be out for the rest of the year? Was there kind of a conversation between you guys just about how your roles might change?
Yes and no. I mean, we all have our roles, and we know that our job is to go out there and compete as hard as we can and to get in there and throw strikes. And obviously it's really tough losing those guys, but we're rallying around them. So it's helped us.
Jacob.
Do you feel like your role specifically changed at all with those two guys out? Because you are one of the guys capable of throwing multiple innings from that bullpen. So what do you feel like that event did for you this season?
I mean, coming out of the bullpen, I always try to keep the same mentality, just going out and competing. So Obviously, the roles are going to change, but the game is still the same. And I like to think that way. Just it'll keep me consistent.
Jeff?
We've already seen what Ethan's done from the back end, and now, what you were able to do today. If you guys can kind of be a 1-2 punch back there, I know maybe you'll start, maybe not, but if you're a 1-2 punch back there, what do you see between the two of you?
Just fearless mindsets. I like to think our whole bullpen is just a group of guys that are not afraid to go after anybody, and we're going to come at you and we're going to throw strikes and we're going to compete.
Questions for Christian using the raised hand function? Any more questions for Christian? All right, thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys.
Sean Mclean is joining us. Thanks for the time, Sean. We'll go straight to questions using the raised hand function. First up, Jacob.
Hey, Sean, can you just walk us through the at-bat where you hit the homer and kind of how that felt to get the first one of your college career off the back?
Hold on, Sean, you're muted. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hung a curveball earlier in the at-bat, and I pulled it down the line. And, we've been working on switching our windows for hitting. And then he threw a changeup. I pulled it again, and then went to the fastball for a ball, and then he went back to the changeup, and I was able to put a good swing on it, and luckily it went over the left field wall. So I'm happy to get the first one out of the way. Hopefully there'll be more. I don't know. We'll see.
Questions for Sean. Jacob.
Have you noticed a change in mindset within the pitching staff just after the two guys, Coop and Boyd, went down with the injuries? How have you seen them respond to that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our pitching staff is, I think, one of the best in the Pac-12, if not the best. It's hard facing them this fall. I mean, each pitcher's good, but it's big to see guys like Badovich and Osman and guys that, you don't see start kind of step up and throw for us. And they're going to be a big piece of the puzzle to what we got coming in here the next couple of weeks. But, I mean, our pitching staff is, I would say, the best in the Pac-12. It's impressive to watch them pitch, and, they keep it a close game every time. And I'm excited to see those guys doing good.
Jack.
On off the bat, I saw you gave it a little bit of a flip, but it certainly took its time getting over the wall.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Give it a little flip. I don't know. Just let it eat. I had one of those last week where I thought it was out, but it was a pop fly to left field. So I kind of gave it a flip there, but, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I did that in the fall, and it was a double instead of a home run. So maybe I should stop doing that.
Michael.
Sean, 20 different players got into the game today, either on the mound or in pinch running or any other capacity. Just how important is it to have the depth that you guys do to where you can go to 20 different guys to contribute in a single game?
Yeah, man. I mean, we're deep. When you say 20 guys, I think you can almost put probably 25 guys in. I mean, from the pitching staff to the offensive guys, I mean, we're deep. I mean, you look at Blake Piveroff, the guy's 4 for 4 and 4 pinch hits. So that guy's clutch. He's coming up, big for us in big situations. But, I mean, like I said, we're deep this year, and I'm excited to see what we got coming in here next few weeks.
Mac.
Hey, Sean, what can you say about somebody like Ethan Long, who's closing the game out on Friday night, but on Saturday he's hitting 2 slots above you and getting on base?
Yeah, that kid's a baller. It's fun to watch him play. Also, he's a good teammate, but above all, he's a good player. I mean, it's cool to watch him get on the mound and do his thing, but, I mean, he's really good in the box too. I told him, hey, where are you going to play summer ball this year? He said, probably somewhere in the Cape. I told him, dude, you need to do both. You need to hit and pitch. He's a good player, and I could see him staying in the lineup for us.
Jacob.
Sean, when I spoke with Joe DeMarco a couple weeks ago, he was saying how you made some really good offensive swing changes over the offseason. How much do you feel like those are paying off right now? And kind of, can you speak to just when you started to feel like you got into a rhythm after you made changes?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a grind, baseball. You're going to have a lot of ups and downs. So it's just about minor adjustments over time. And, But yeah, I would say over the fall, I made some good adjustments and was able to work with Mike as well. It wasn't just Joe, it was Mike. I give a lot of credit to Mike. I mean, we've been working the last couple of weeks on, switching our windows and stuff. But I would say, yeah, I mean, made some adjustments, and I guess you could say it's working out, but I think I could be better.
Jeff?
When Joe Lampy makes a catch like that, do you go up to him afterwards and say, "Hey, I could have made that catch too"? Do you guys joke around like that? And what did you think of that catch?
Oh yeah, me and Joe compete, whether it's in the weight room or whether it's out on the field. But, I didn't go up to him and tell him I could have made that catch. That's tough. I was playing center field, and the sun, when you play that 2:00 game, the sun's tough. And it was impressive to see him make that play. But no, Joe's one of the best center fielders I've seen play. I think he's better than me, honestly. But no, the kid can play, and I like him out there. He's a good kid. I like him.
All right. Thanks for the time, Sean.
Yeah, thank you guys.